Good afternoon, the live stream viewers and whoever's watching after the stream. Welcome to another live stream. We've got stocks going, SUPERCYCLE bullish, Bitcoin remaining stagnant. The further the gap gets, the more prevalent the bear market becomes. So all you can kind of do is make a plan with what you have and hope for the best. We have Hokage, Richard Desmond, JK, Crypto Rally, Silver Days, Dirt Napkin, Piece of Monkey Trash, Camel Blue, Kentaro is in the chat, Vegeta, Crypto Rally. It's going to 120K. Maybe, man, maybe. But we got to start with semiconductors. They're not stopping. I think I get it. Unfortunately, it's too late. But now Micron is the next NVIDIA. I didn't realize it, but, you know, too late. Oh, well. But congratulations. So I think NVIDIA set the tone at 5 trillion, and now all the other stocks are going to catch up to 1 trillion. So congrats to whoever played the semiconductors. Piece of monkey trash for 2 says, let's jump right in for 2 Doge Hopium updates. I appreciate the 2. Well, unfortunately, I don't have any Doge Hopium. I think the summertime is kind of going to be the deadline where if we head into, I want to say like July, and Doge still doesn't go anywhere, that's it. We're going to turn our attention to the downside. I think this rally is going to last probably until the summer. It might even end in June. I don't know. But once the summer solstice passes and we're kind of still stuck here, I think that's kind of it, honestly. I mean, you're not going to get, you're not. You know, I think people think I'm exaggerating, but you're not going to get a more bullish environment than what we're in right now. And the fact that Doge isn't moving, that's not bullish. You can look at the SPY, you can look at the 10-day stock RSI. What we're sitting through right now is historically the most bullish environment that you could ask for. So the fact that we're just sitting here, I think it's just confirmation that we're still in a bear market. But the reason why this is such an important point for Dogecoin is because if it can't take this high, then you're still stuck in a downtrend. And when the stock RSI turns over, you're maybe setting up for that Dogecoin move to 5 cents that we've been looking for. I think if it was going to invalidate 5 cents, now would be the time. Not necessarily today, but over the next couple of months. Because when this 10-day stock RSI comes lower, we're going to go significantly lower. The only way you avoid that is by having a Doge spike, as you saw in 2022. So if we don't see any type of spike, I have to prepare for detonation down to 6 cents because there's nowhere else to go. So the Dogetopian would be, you probably have another month of a rally, which means that the rally still could come. But I think July 1st, Doge below 15 cents pretty much confirms it's going down to 6. So my hopium would be, as per your request, bullish until July. And once July passes, I think we're going down. I mean, it's becoming more and more prevalent now because of how bullish everything else is. I mean, it's not even FOMO anymore. Like you just missed the boat. Like not you specifically, but we just missed the boat. Like if you're not in already, you missed it. It's not even about FOMO anymore. The way these semiconductors are moving, I mean, you can't buy in when it's going like this. You missed it. Maybe when we get some consolidation, then you can get in if you want, but you straight up just missed it. So the fact that Bitcoin is not budging tells me that it's bearish. So I think actually today I'm going to start preparing for the second half of the bear market because I don't want to miss it. But I appreciate the two. Riser for 2 says bowel movement right before your first coffee. I appreciate the 2. I don't drink coffee, but no bowel movement. I appreciate the 2, man. That is awesome. Vegeta says I say 138K by August. Could be, man. Could be. Some people are looking for a new high. Some people aren't. I'm just enjoying the ride. But Coinbase did have earnings yesterday. Nothing burger. And it's making a significantly lower high than what Bitcoin is doing, which is not a good sign. MSTR is following Bitcoin, which is a good sign. Robinhood is not following Bitcoin, which is not a good sign. And unfortunately, my Bitcoin stocks, because I have a label, they're not even Bitcoin stocks anymore. Like Hut is now an AI company. Mara, you guys are saying, is turning into an AI company. They're not even Bitcoin stocks. BMNR is an Ethereum stock. It's not moving. Riot, I don't know what Riot is doing. It just made another high for the cycle, but I don't know if it's a Bitcoin stock. I think Riot's now a data stock, so they're not even Bitcoin stocks anymore. Everybody's piling into these data stocks, which I get it, but that's not crypto. But I mean, crypto is like the next closest thing, and the fact that it's stuck in a bear market tells me that it's a bear market. So you said the Nasdaq will be bearish a few months ago. Yeah, the crash was much smaller than I was anticipating. That's for sure. But I told you specifically, the Marine, a month in advance, and we got a 10% crash. So obviously there's no bear market. But we got something at least. It wasn't like we went up when I told you we were going to crash. We crashed first and then we went up. So it wasn't a total miss. Riser for 2 says, I building a metric largest BBWP signs all stocks. I appreciate the 2. Yeah, I mean, my worry here, which is just a thought, is the AI and the computer stocks and all of that, they're all pumping now, but what happens if we do get the final move down in the bear market and then they don't really do anything in 2027? You know? Like, what if they're going up now and then when the bull run starts, everybody buys them, but they already went up, so they're not going to move? Does that make sense? Let me try and find an example. Well, Nvidia is basically the example. Like, what if Nvidia set the tone? Now they're all... So essentially the bull run is happening now. And then the rest of the stocks just sit here and do nothing. You know, kind of like 2024. Nvidia had the monster run and then it went and it did nothing. I feel like that could happen where the real bull market is now for the tech stocks. But maybe everyone buys them at the Bitcoin bear market bottom, but they don't really do anything because they're going up now. I don't know. It's just a thought. But yeah, the BBWP, I'm sure for a lot of these is probably... Actually, I'm curious. It's probably hitting overheated at this point. Not that it matters because there's no top, but yeah, but see, it could be overheated for a while. Yeah, the QCOM, they are overheated actually. Yeah, but this is nuts, man. We got Crypto Mouses in the chat. Kantaro says 76 viewers. It is a bear market. Yeah, we've been in a bear market for 5 months now. We're halfway through, which is why I want to start preparing because the second leg down should be pretty big. I mean, we've now had 3 green months in a row. Has that ever happened before? Yeah, this bear market's is a first for a lot of things. We just had 3 green months in a row for the first time ever. So definitely an odd bear market, but the fact that crypto or the stock market's doing what it's doing, again, we're going to give Bitcoin the benefit of the doubt heading into the summer, but once August passes, if we're still at 80,000, that tells me we're going down. Because like I showed you in the video this morning, look at this chart. This is bearish. Bitcoin divided by the NASDAQ is super bearish. It looks like it's getting ready to take out the low soon, which means we're going to take out the low. But the problem is if the S&P finally moves down whenever it does, and Bitcoin never went up in the first place, then this chart is going to be even more bearish. So we're going to let the bulls. That's the thing though. It is, if this was 2027 or 2028, we'd be going straight up. I think because it's 2026, we're stuck. But you know, I can't say it's going to crash because we're max bullish, but I'm turning into a bear again probably in the summer. I think once June 18th passes, I'm turning bearish again. Until then, let the bulls run. 3K gambling on UFC? Good luck, man. That's nuts. Riser for 2 again says Grayscale Zcash. Wow. Yeah, the Grayscale stocks do better than the actual assets. I mean, it's too late to buy this, but yeah, I noticed that. This is like every time. The Grayscale stocks do better than the actual coins. So my question is, maybe this Solana one is going to do the same thing, where maybe we do get the end of the bear market, it goes to $3, get 1,000 shares, and then it runs all the way back to $40. What do we think? But yeah, this already ran. It's too late. Which is Zcash actually going up right now? Yeah, so bizarre. Very interesting bear market, that's for sure. But I would say as long as she stays over 1540, it's technically bullish. 1540 and 2411. As long as they're over those two, it is technically bullish. The next stop would be $79. So we could go to 79 to 127 if Zcash remains bullish. As long as it's above 24, it is bullish. And once it falls below 15, or if it does, then the top is in. But until then, we can remain bullish on Zcash. Good luck. Very, very weird market cycle. Very, very weird market cycle. Yeah, this. I don't know what the screen box is. This is interesting here. So where are we? Right now, which you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move this up to the top so it doesn't get in the way. Move this up to the top. And we move this up to the top. So where are we now? That's the question. Right now we're 742 days from the halving. $742 was here. 742 days was here. Wow. Yeah, in both of the last, in both, oh wait, what about this one? Yeah, wow, at 742 and all prior bear markets, this was essentially the last rally before we collapsed. I think that's what this is, man. It doesn't mean we have to collapse now, but I think heading out of this is gonna end, we're going down, right? That's what it's looking like, man. And the fact that the stock RSI is on the ceiling, it sets you up for that as a possibility. So the question becomes, how low do we go? I think the delta price is 44,000. So 44,000 is 46% from here. I guess that's not that much. Yeah, I mean 46,000 is not that bad. That's 65%. That lines up with the diminished returns. Right? 44,000. Maybe a little lower, like 40. I guess that's not really that unreasonable. Because we fell by 35% from September to November. It only takes 2 months to go down. So if we start going down in August, we could be down there by November. Maybe we start going down in July. But that's what I'm saying. We can remain bullish all we want to. If we're still at 82,000 and it's July and August, like we kind of know we're going down. But I have a high, I don't think we're going to be here still. We'd either be much higher or move back down. I don't think we're just going to sit here for 3 months, like at 82,000. We're either going up or we're not. And the fact that we are doing historically what has happened, with these, hold on a second. Let me, I think this is the correct color code, right? We broke the blue moving average and we collapsed. Yes, this is the correct color code. Okay. Maybe we go up to 87, I don't know, but historically, I would like to make these one more size bigger, but I don't remember how. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So we did technically do what we always do, which is hit the red. We didn't hit it yet, so maybe there is one more spike left. That's why I'm not turning bearish yet. But I'm going to guess that we shouldn't get over 88,000 because when you get over 88,000, you actually... Here, I could actually use a different chart so we can see. You actually enter the parabolic phase of the bull market, which is why it would be weird if we broke out, right? See how you broke this blue moving average? Like, you broke the blue moving average to the downside, and then you stayed in the bear market, and then when you broke out over it, you went to the moon. When you broke below it here, you capitulated, got accumulated, and then when you broke out again, you went to the moon. You went up 100%. I'm pretty sure when we break this blue moving average, you enter accumulation, and when you break back over it, you're bullish. So I would be shocked if we broke over 88,000. That would be something that has never happened before, which means if it happens, maybe we got to turn bullish. Because that would be very, very unprecedented. Precedented, rather. But if it was going to happen, I think it happens before the summer's over. Because if we're still below it, I think we're going down. Now, these moving averages will not work forever, so maybe it's different this time, but if it was going to happen, look at the momentum. It's max bullish. Every time we've broken this blue moving average, the momentum is doing what it's doing now. So if it doesn't happen on this attempt, I don't think it's happening, which means this has to come down again. We've never kissed a 200 moving average, then rallied above it in a bear market. Yeah, you have. You did it a couple times. You did it in 2014. You went above it. Now you didn't like explode to the moon, but you broke over it by 7%. So the 200-day moving average doesn't have to definitively be the top. You could go through it. So if we went through it by 3%, that puts us at 86K. That's why I'm not saying it has to work, because this market cycle is breaking everything. So we could go up there. But I think personally, if we actually break this, you got something. Something's wrong. We just had this 5-month bear market, but I don't think we should get that high. How much longer can the stock market keep going up without some form of extended sideways? When that starts, Bitcoin will inevitably begin its journey to the low. Well, that's the idea. That's why I don't know how long this is going to last. It just doesn't want to stop. But the thing is, in 2014, yeah, you even had sideways. I don't know. I mean, unless it's going to do this, where it's like, can we rule this out? I don't know. I'm not a stock guy. I think if this happened, it would be holy crap. That seems to be the only explanation, unless it's just going to keep going up forever and ever. But I don't know. It's remarkable. It's the strongest markets we've seen. It doesn't want to go down. Like, I mean, it just went down, but it doesn't want to consolidate, which is why I think the summer will be our answer. Because if we do stall out in the summer, then we could start speculating the crash is going to come at the end. You know, this rally lasted, I mean, it stopped going parabolic pretty much in August. So I think if we start going sideways in the summer, you'll get something like this. Because it's true. It's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then all of a sudden it goes down. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any reference points because I can't really say this is the same because this was in the middle of the bull market. I can only look at 2018, which I still can't really say it's the same. I mean, it's similar the way that it's behaving, but I mean, we're just going vertical. So maybe the S&P truly bottomed and it's never going back down there ever again, you know? But even here, we went sideways. So I think if we go sideways into the summer, or in the summer, not into the summer, then we'll know, okay, this is probably at the end. Because it always is. Whenever we go sideways, we always go down after. I don't think you've ever gone sideways and then gone up. You always go down first. But because of how high it is, I mean, I can't really see this happening, but dude, at this rate, it's going to hit 800. Then a 20% correction brings you back to where we already were. So it's tough. That's why the Bulls, congrats. You know, I don't know how high it's going to go. I don't know what to eat. You should put potatoes in an air fryer. That'll be good. Favorite game to play at the casino? I don't go to the casino. But what I have to really point out here, chat, you could say SPY's going to the moon, NASDAQ's going to the moon. The Dow is not moving. That tells me that this is driven by the semiconductors alone, which stinks because I wanted to get in on them. Now I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Because like I was saying in the beginning of the live stream, how do we know that this isn't the semiconductor bull run? And then it does something like this, where it's bearish while everything else goes up. That's why I think I missed it. It's not even about FOMO, it's just the mo. You missed out, you know? Like what happens if we get something like this, where it's just pumping and pumping and pumping, and then the bear market comes, or not the bear market, but the bottom for Bitcoin comes, but this does nothing. That's my only worry. So I straight up missed it. It's gone. But it's true, the Dow is not moving, even though the Nasdaq and SPY are, and that's because it's all loaded up with Micron, AMD, Intel, Nvidia. That's all it is. Google, which I do think the Dow should make a new all-time high, but again, when the Dow starts struggling, it lets you know it's kind of like not fake, but it's not really time to throw my money in unless you're gonna risk it all and just throw all your chips in and say I don't care what happens, then that's fine and that could work out. But for me, I don't want to really lose any more money, so the Dow struggling the way that it did in 2018 kind of tells me that this is fake. Like, and I don't want to word that wrong because clearly it's going up, so it's not fake, but it's like in 2018, it was like, oh my God, it's going to the moon, you know? I mean, I wonder if you measure it from the percentages, is it similar? 7% above the high. Are we 7% above the high? Oh yeah, we are. We're way higher. So maybe that's really the only comparison I can make is to 2018, where Bitcoin was bearish, but the stocks were not. But the thing is, at the end of 2018, everything went to zero in like a flash crash. So I wonder if that's what's going to happen again. I mean, listen, the NASDAQ pulled back. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure this is the NASDAQ. It's just QQQ. It's the same thing, similar rather. It fell by 23%, even though this bull run from 2016 to the peak was 96%. We have been in a bull market for the NASDAQ since 2022. So we're up holy crap. It's up 172%. So we had a 23% correction off of a 96% gain. I'm going to make the case here that a 172% bull run could result in a 30% drawdown, which does line up with the 200 moving average. I know, again, and you sound stupid calling for a crash right now, and I'm not calling for a crash right now, but unless Bitcoin's about to go to 100,000, I have to prepare for that potential scenario, because that's what happened. In 2018, Bitcoin did nothing. The QQQ went to the moon, and then all of a sudden the rug got pulled. The same thing did happen in 2015 as well, where the QQQ just kept pumping and pumping and pumping, and then at the last second, they pulled the rug by 17%. So the problem is, how high is it going to go by the time it has the correction, and it's going to be all the way up here. So I don't know, I don't know how long this is going to go on. I would imagine it's probably going to go on until the summertime. That's why I think June and July is probably where it stalls. Maybe it doesn't, but we'll know if it does. That lines up with the 4-year cycle. So we would turn bearish September, October, November, which historically the S&P does bottom in October, November, December. You bottomed in October here. You bottomed in December here. This one you had a bottom in September, then a lower low in February. The problem is, like I said, how high is it going to go before that happens? I don't know. Could keep going. It's going to go to 1,000? No, I don't think it's going to go that high. But I am keeping it in the back of my mind that this has been going up. It's up 160% from the low. So what used to be, oh my God, crash is now normal because of how high up it is. So it's I'm not going to pretend to be an analyst either. I'm just a regular guy. I can only look at what has happened historically, and what we're sitting through right now, I can't say has happened before because of how explosive the bull market is. But I don't know, has it? Like, if we zoom in, you could argue, look at the NAS, or look at Bitcoin and look at the SOXL Semiconductor ETF. It was bullish the whole freaking bear market. It's possible. So we might even be here where it's like, oh, we just had the whatever crash and now we're up on the ceiling. Obviously, it's much more exaggerated now, but that's really all I can compare it to. Because these percent gains are just so high. It's like I'm not going to say unsustainable, but it's remarkable. But then I said yesterday, or maybe the other day, I'm thinking to myself, it's not 2017 anymore. There's so much money in the world. Maybe we are just at that point where everything's just going to be $10 trillion. Why not? Like I said yesterday, Amazon had $1 trillion in 2018 or 2019, and it was like a big deal. now 10 trillion is the new trillion. And it's like, holy crap. So what used to be abnormal, it may be normal. We may start getting 20 to 30% drawdowns on SPY. It doesn't seem likely, but we just had a 20% crash last year. That 20% used to be the bear market. Now we just had one and then went right back up. But the thing is, it's like, I don't know. Are we in here? Dude, we're going up. Like we're actually starting to go up. I wonder if this is on the other side. It's the only point that is similar to what we're doing. We had a 10% correction and now we're just teleporting to the upside. We're literally teleporting. Every day I check, it's just up. Up. It's really nuts. I don't think we have time for this. We can't get a bear market. It's impossible. I mean, unless everything's busted, then I guess nothing's impossible. But I don't really understand how the S&P can start a bear market in 2027 when Bitcoin's getting ready to start a bull market. The only explanation would be a very large period of consolidation or a COVID crash, which is what I'm not saying it has to happen, but I'm keeping my money ready in case it does. Because if we do get one, rates are already at 4%. They can cut rates to 0. They could do QE, and we could get the biggest bull run in history, which is what it said, which is what everyone says every time. But I mean, think about it. They already ended QT. What would be a reason to cut rates? This. But when you're in the moment, it doesn't feel like it. But I'm telling you, I remember this. I downloaded Robinhood because no, I had Robinhood, but I started looking at options on Robinhood and I was like, dude, this is nuts. And I was like, this thing's just going to keep going. And even though there was COVID, we still went down. Like, I really think this is unsustainable. It is. It doesn't mean it's not going to keep going, but I would really be shocked if we didn't enter ginormous sideways, which doesn't really make any sense. Because how could we enter sideways if Bitcoin's getting ready to start a bull market? The only other option is, well, I guess the other option is it just keeps going. I guess I have to start accepting maybe it is just going to go to 1,000 in one shot. Or we do turn sideways into the summer, then we get the big move, then we get the bottom in the fall, and then we get the V recovery. I'm willing to bet though, if we get this is the bottom forever. It's just, there's just so much money going into the market. It's really remarkable. And I really can't argue with it because I look at the stock RSI and it says that 2022 was the bear market. Look at this. 2022 was the bear market. That's why I guess we're seeing so much movement because 2022 was nasty. Look at that. It was similar to 2008 for the stock RSI. So like I get it, but man, it's truly remarkable. But the only reason why I have that if in the back of my head is because of Bitcoin. If Bitcoin didn't exist, it's like, yeah, it's just going to keep going forever. But even here, you could see 6-month stock RSI. It was bullish all the way through until 2022. Then it finally collapsed. So now we're just turning bullish. It's just hitting overbought now. So like I get it. I understand it's just going to go to 1,000. But what about Bitcoin? I understand it's a super cycle, but if it's not a super cycle, then when does Bitcoin go down? It's supposed to go down in the fourth quarter, but you've never seen Bitcoin go down and not have SPY catch up. So it's just opening up a big can of worms where either it's different this time and Bitcoin's really about to go to 200,000, or we're going to get some type of COVID crash at the end of the year. I don't know why it would happen, but you don't have to know why. You just have to see it happen. I mean, it doesn't even necessarily have to be a COVID crash. It's just going to feel like it because of how big it is. But you did the same thing in 2018. And then it V-bottomed. The problem is that might not happen. And how high is it going to go before it does? I have no idea. It's tough. But I'm not going to try and know. You know, like all the big analysts on YouTube are all wrong too. So it just goes up and to the right. But now it's really starting to get exaggerated. Like if you look at that SOXL, man, it's just doing the God run of runs. Like it's nuts. Look at it. So we're either at the end of the, not end, but we're closer to the end of this semiconductor bubble, or when we get this correction, if we get it, I think we will at the end of the year, you're really going to see the biggest tech boom in God knows how long, where everything just goes to 5 trillion like Nvidia. And maybe that's why everything is going up. Maybe Micron is going to be like Nvidia. It's 800 billion. That's a lot. But that's because we're thinking about it in 2017, 2020 terminology. In 2030, like we're going into 2030 now. Holy shit. Maybe 5 trillion is the new norm. Everything's just going to be worth 5 trillion. I'm starting to be open to it. I get it. AMD, Micron, Intel, right? These are going to be all the companies that make the robots and the flying cars and the AI this, AI that. Maybe 5 trillion is the new standard. Or we're going to form a top in the summer and then everything goes to bust. And then we can get in and say, all right, there's too many what ifs. It's unfortunate, but well, it's unfortunate for the bears like me, but it's not, because crypto's not doing anything. That's why I don't even consider myself a bear. I'm just sitting on the sidelines waiting for the bear market to end. But it is definitely a unique scenario where Bitcoin is doing nothing and SPY is just going vertical. It's never gone this vertical. Well, as I say that, is that true? I don't know. Look at 2019. Bitcoin was going down and SPY was going up. There's your answer. It has happened before. It just has never happened in a bear market year. I don't think 2019 was considered a bear market. A bear market ends when the bottom is in, and the bottom was in 2018. Because if you look at this chart, 2019 doesn't look that different from 2023. It's just in 2019, we had the COVID crash. We didn't get a COVID crash, but these don't look that different. The real bottom was here. But it's true, in 2019, SPY did go vertical and Bitcoin went down. And the other side of that was COVID. So again, I'm not saying we have to have a COVID crash, but I would be surprised if we didn't get something at the end of the year. Like maybe not a COVID crash, but a reality check. But the thing is, that reality check is going to be the real bottom, where we might not go back to those prices ever. Again, that's just my it's not a thesis, but it's just something I'm watching. Because now this 200-week moving average is going to really start ticking up. So it's probably going to go all the way to like 570. So if we go to, let's just say we went to 800. Yeah, dude, that's only 28%. That's not even that much. We just did 22%. I think the reason why it feels like it's more is because of the big numbers, you know? You don't think it's realistic? Let's just go astronomical. We're going to 800 SPY. Send it. You still could come back to 570, and that's not really that far from what you've done. It's true. I personally think it's likely. Again, the way that won't happen is if Bitcoin just goes to 150,000, but Bitcoin getting stuck, I'm not saying I'm right? That's the thing. I'm not saying I'm an analyst and this is what has to happen. It's just what I'm preparing for. So am I watching stocks go to the moon? Yes. Are these stocks ever coming back to these prices? Probably not. You're probably never getting Micron at $300. You're definitely not getting it at $60. But that doesn't mean it's going to go up forever. You know? But I'm not buying this individually. I'm going to try and buy the leverage stuff. Like Tesla. Tesla's kind of the same thing now. I just checked it the other day. But this isn't really doing anything either. So I wonder, maybe we do get this rally, right? And then SPY falls 25%. This would come all the way back down. Yeah, that's what happened in 2019. Look. Wait, oh my gosh, is that not what's happening now? Hold on, let me go back and check. Yeah, SOXL looks a lot different than Tesla. But Tesla looks more like SOXL does now, doesn't it? Let me put them side by side. Oh well, I don't have my charts edited, so you're gonna have to suck it up. But let me take this off log. Right, so this on the right is Tesla, and this on the left is SOXL, which is semiconductors. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm not saying it has to play out, but I wouldn't be shocked if it did. Because it lines up with the 4-year cycle. Right? Yeah, but I don't know. How big was this drop? We fell by 78%. Yeah, but the problem is now we... Oh, shit. I don't think it's going to go that low. Maybe like 50%. It can happen because these are leveraged products. So if Micron falls by 30%, this falls by like 50%. Yeah, I don't know. You think this is possible or no? That's why if it does, I have to just close my eyes and get in because we would just blast out of here. We would blast out like you wouldn't imagine. I think it's a possibility as Bitcoin enters the summer. If we don't see any type of rally, I think that's going to happen. It doesn't mean I'm telling you it's going to happen. It's just something that I'm preparing for if it does happen. If it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen. But I think Bitcoin doing nothing increases the odds of it happening. Which is why if we do go into the summer, and there's a lot of ifs in here because it's going vertical. I'm not going to say it's bearish as it's going straight up. But as we go into the summer, if we do see this sideways, I think that increases the probability because the red dot will come back. And I used the red dot twice now. In February, we said red dot and we went down. And last year, we said red dot and we went down. Now it's green again. So sideways will result in a red dot. And if the red dot happens to print in September, there's a lot of ifs, but this one's not necessarily the same because we were bearish for a whole year. I don't think we're going to be bearish for a whole year. COVID, it didn't really help because you got the red dot, but then you went down, but no one would have guessed we would have had a second red bar like that. Yeah, this one is interesting. You got the red dot and then we were bearish for 3 months. So it's something to watch. This one, it was no use. You already missed it. I can't say I know. You know, it's all speculation. Maybe it does just teleport like this forever. But that's never happened. But like, I think we're getting to the point where people are starting to think that this is the first time it's going to happen. But it never, ever happens. At some point, the guy that bought in at the bottom has to get out. We're just not at that point. It's still going. Just like MSTR. It's never going to go down. It's going to go up forever. There was people calling it a money glitch. That was literally the top. And I think now, like even someone like me, just a regular guy that has no stock experience, is talking about the MSTR, or sorry, not the MSTR, the semiconductors to an extent, because I've watched this stock since 2019, but I mean it's really getting there now. Like the RSI on the monthly time frame is about to make an all-time high. Like I can't tell my viewers, dude, if you don't get in now. Like the reality is it already left. It's not about missing the boat. The boat left already. You can't get on. You know, especially when 100% of the time it comes back down. The question is, how high is it going to go before it stops? And I don't know the answer to that. You have to watch your favorite YouTuber. But I can't sit here looking at this saying, crap, I got to get in before the boat leaves. The boat already left me. I missed it. But I'm going to wait for it to come back. Am I going to get in at $30? Probably not. I don't know. You know, maybe it does something like 2021 where it just has a big pullback. Like it goes like this. But that's the thing too. If it's a flash crash, it doesn't really show up. You know, maybe we do this. I think this is more likely, actually. I don't think it's just going to go straight back to the bottom. It's probably going to do something like this, realistically. Yeah, I would say that, which is bullish, but even this little ass pullback could be massive. But congratulations to the Semiconductor Moon Boys. You did good. Now that someone in the chat has this memory ETF, I'm like, what the hell is this? Is this the next one? It's something to behold. So all I can say is congrats. And you know, most people probably bought crypto. I didn't buy crypto. I think we're in a bear market, but I didn't buy any stocks. We got Riser for 2 says, what is this indicator called? Also good for stocks. Oh, wait, I got a couple of things going on. We got John Doe for 55 months, man. Holy crap. 55 months. Cheers. Should I buy SOXS? Myro's leaving the station. I appreciate the sub. No, you don't want to blindly short something that's going vertical. Especially since we could be bullish until the summer. You just got to accept it's gone. But I appreciate the sub. Myro's leaving the station. Yeah, I had a nice recovery. The same thing happened last year, though, I remember. I actually bought the bottom on Myro. Should have just stayed in, but we are potentially seeing a repeat of last year. It's really nuts. April was the bottom, and then a recovery, and then the top is in the summer. It feels like it was yesterday because it was Mother's Day, and I remember I was driving to get flowers. It was like 10 o'clock at night. Yeah, nah, it's same thing, man. That's why I'm saying if we don't go up June and July, I'm preparing for the crash. I'm going to assume that if we're still here like this, that's it. We got to go up. We don't have to go up now because we did. We kept saying we have to go up now and we went up. We don't have to go up now. We can kind of sit here. But I'm going to imagine that if we form this type of structure, that should be it. Because now we got to start moving. Like if we did this exact move, we're still only at 52,000. We got to get all the way down here. So you don't want to blindly short something that's bullish because even Coinbase missed on earnings and it's going up. Like we're bullish right now. That's why I can't say it's going to crash, but I turn back into Mr. Permabear, I think, at the end of June. And obviously, if we move down before that, then we know it's bearish. But I could see the market kind of doing nothing until the summer. Kind of like what happened here, where we just sat here for a month. If we're still the same price in June, that's probably it. We got Riser for 2 says, what's the indicator called? What indicator? With the dots? Oh, this? Yeah, this is one of the better indicators. It's called Wave Trend Oscillator plus Divergence by Dread Blitz. So you could probably search up Wave Trend Oscillator and just skim through it. Yeah, it should be this one by Dread Blitz. It's really good. It's not, I mean, no indicator is perfect, but it's pretty good. Like when you start getting red dots for Bitcoin, you know you're starting to get bearish. The problem is it's turning bullish now, so it's not working as well. Like even this green dot told me, damn, are we actually going up? That's why when we came down for the higher low, I turned bullish because I said, even though I wanted it to go down, I'm not going to tell my viewers it's bearish because it's bullish. That's why I turned bullish in the first week of April. The problem is in 2022, you got the same dot, but you made another low after that. So I kind of get not excited, but I kind of get happy when I think about being here, even though it was a long time ago, because I know the magic that happened here. Like I said that to myself today. I got to give myself a little bit of slack. I mean, no excuses because I decimated my life, but we did make some magic happen, you know? We did. We made the magic happen. So it's almost time to make the magic happen. You just have to wait or do whatever you're doing. Everyone's got a different plan, but this indicator is pretty good. It usually, again, nothing is perfect for tops and bottoms, but we had 3 red dots. That was it. And it told you in advance too. Like you got the red dot and then the next month was the top and then we went down. But yeah, it's one of the better indicators. Red dot on the November printed bear market. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. But right now we are kind of in no man's land with indicators. That's why I stopped looking at them. I'm purely relying on the stock RSI, which I do trust it, so we're kind of doing okay. This was one of the reasons too I turned bullish. I don't want to say I turned bullish, but I stopped saying we're gonna crash because like I even said like, dude, this isn't bearish. When the stock RSI is up here, it's not bearish, or when it's climbing rather. So if we were gonna crash, it would have went down on this attempt, and it didn't. Then I said that's it. But here's the thing: now we're at that point where if it's gonna go up, it should go up now, which it has been. But that's why I said into the summer, if we still don't go up, nothing stays up forever. It doesn't do this. It only does this if we're going vertical. When it goes like this, that's where it's holy shit. And we're at the point before that. So it's something to watch. That's why I said if we're doing this into the summer, I do think we're going like this. Because the moves down, again, you can see it went sideways, but look at what happened. We were going vertical. So unless we're about to do this, they look pretty damn close, don't they? Maybe we go up next week and we go right back up to 120. That would be nuts. But anything other than that should result in a move to the downside. Because in a bear market, every time you've had this stock RSI like this, you went down big time. That is a true statement. When you strictly focus on bear markets and you look at the 5-day stock RSI, anything other than straight up results in straight down. So I'm going to assume that the absence of straight up will result in straight down. And even here's the summer again. What? This is what I'm saying. I don't know why I said what? What? Look, we were both. That's why sell in May, go away is rubbish. I didn't say that. We were super bullish in May. Then we stalled June, July, and then we crashed. For all we know, we're right in here. Again, you'll never see the same thing twice, but similar concept. Why do I say that? It's the same month, same stock RSI. Bitcoin it's too early to say that it's stalling. That's why I'm saying if we do come to June and July and it is stalling, and you have the S&P going vertical, the S&P broke the high, just like we did now. Actually, I would be curious to see what this chart looks like. I appreciate it too, though, from Riser. Yeah, hopefully I answered your question. Oh, it's pretty much the same. It's the same. So I'm purely relying on the stock RSI. What time frames? The problem is you're not listening to the indicators again, just like you didn't listen to them at the top. Yeah, this guy is literally a troll. I thought he wasn't, but he was. The reality is our top indicators did go off. We just didn't get out. That's why I've been out of the market since October. If you're bullish and you're making money, then that's fine. But good luck. Buy in May, you'll be okay. That's what it seems like. Doge is trying. Let me see. I mean, I don't know if I would say it's trying, but I need it to go up. It's better for the channel. Oh, maybe. It's better for the channel if it goes up. Do I own any Doge? No, I don't own any Doge. I don't own any crypto. I'm going to try and make 2026 the first year I don't buy crypto. It's going to be tough though, because then how would you buy the bottom? But at least until the bottom's in. How about that? We'll see what happens. I like that you're not drinking soda. Where'd you see that? Dominic Mysterio is in the building. House coin looks ready. Yeah, I'm not participating in these shenanigans. Dead cat bounce. Is this Mr. Meow making a coin? Dead cat bounce. All right, so let me go back. Let me go back to making our chart here. So we're gonna get rid of this. Yeah, we don't need this. This was just a measurement to see where we were. So what if we count backwards? What if we say from the bottom? I guess it's the same thing. We should potentially be halfway through the bear market. Yeah, but I look at the stock RSI on the bottom and I see every time it hits overbought, that's the top. Like that rally is the last rally and you never go back there. Like here you hit overbought, then we went down, then we hit overbought again, but we never went back to this. Here we hit overbought and we never went back. I'm pretty sure if I'm going to say when this rally fails, we shouldn't be going back to 82,000 for a year. And the thing is, all of the this heat map. Oh, I forgot about the heat map. Yeah, the heat map is being weird too. It's like it's doing what it's never done before. You know? We've always hit dark blue. And now we're light blue again. Remember the heat map indicator? But if you lower the time frame, oh, that looks so bearish, man. Yeah, it's light blue again. I'm gonna have to play with this. This is actually a really good indicator. This is from 2022. This is gonna help us find the bottom. I just don't know. I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand how to get the white candles. I'm gonna have to figure it out. I'll figure it out probably next week. You already know what's coming. People always forget how brutal the bear market is. We're going down and everyone will be back to negative. Don't joke about vaccines or masks. I didn't say anything about a vaccine. The market is waiting for me to buy. I mean, let me run a poll actually. Let's see what the poll says. Let's see how the chat is going. So when are we going up? Well, we kind of going up now, but if you're talking about like the real bull run, I think at the end of the year, which that is what kind of gets interesting because why the bottom doesn't have to be in October. So I wonder if our Moon Boy event is in August. Yeah, that's what I wanted to look at. When do we start rallying? We did this last time. We said X days before is when the rally starts. This was 200 days before. This was 140 days before. This one was 150 days before. This was 100 days. All right, so it's like 100 to 150. The problem is this is so far away. The rally would start in March. The only way that makes sense is if the bottom is not in October and it's like pushed back into November or December. That makes sense. If we bottom in December or November, then we go sideways January, February, and then we turn bullish in March. That could be, it could be. I'm open to it. Right? If we turn bearish in August, we crash September, October, November. The bottom is in November or December. We go sideways December, January, February, and turn bullish in March. Then from March till August, we go up. Then we go sideways from August to January. Something like that. I think we go down in June. My Bitcoin long position is doing well. Yeah, if you longed at the low, you're doing really well right now. The question is, are we actually going up for a high or is this just a rally in a bear market? That's the question. And I think the world is kind of split. I think you could probably go around and find just as many people. It's probably still skewed bearish, but the bullish propaganda is definitely coming in. I mean, we'll look back at my titles and emblem and thumbnails in 4 months and say, yeah, that was the top, dude. Look at the title stream. SUPERCYCLE, SUPERCYCLE. Every time I do that, it's always the top. But I'm doing it for the engagement. And I have question marks. Doesn't, maybe it is a super cycle. You never know. Let's see. 45, yeah, see, 45% is already in the market, so they don't feel any FOMO. This bounce is getting all the noobs back in. This bounce is getting people to come back so that the market can take everything away from them. Stocks are the new altcoins. Yeah, but that's usually a sign of euphoria, man. That's the problem. I'm not FOMOing on the stocks. I know I missed it. I'm not going to chase them. Look at AMD, man. The issue with AMD is when it tops, it just goes right back down. There's no like chance to get out. Topped here, went down, it topped here, went down. This one you had about a month to get out. Oh, that's interesting. Actually, the semiconductors did blast up in 20. Yeah, in 2018, the semiconductors did blast up even though we were bearish. Did Intel do that too? No, Intel was bearish. I know Nvidia turned bearish in 28. No, wait, Nvidia, I think Nvidia did go up in 2018. Yeah, Nvidia did go bullish in 2018. I think Bitcoin is actually I actually think it's the other way around now. I think Bitcoin is giving us the forecast that it's bearish. Because in 2018, Nvidia was bullish the whole way through, and then when Bitcoin went down, it fell by 50%. The question is, can Nvidia still fall by 50%? I think it can. Yeah, it just did last year. Do you think Nvidia is going to go back to $100 or is that it? If Nvidia fell by 50%, then the stock market would fall pretty hard. Seen Hanta, I hate crypto. No, I don't even look at Deck Screener anymore, man. I'm trying to figure out what is the correct call. What is the correct play for the bull market, man? Because the semiconductors, I don't know. Something in the back of my head is telling me like the bull run is happening now. I don't know if they're going to go up again. Is it just this simple? You just take MSTR and drag it over? Oh, oh man, imagine. Imagine it's that simple. We're gonna crash in June. The bottom is in October. Yeah, could you imagine? It lines up with the Moonboy chart. No, it really does. I'm not even exaggerating. It says get out August 2028. Isn't that scary? Could you imagine it's this simple? We're gonna crash in June. The bottom's in October. Then from October, I don't know. I don't know if I'd buy that though. No way. I think Nvidia will start buying power companies soon. I don't even know what that means. I have to go to the bathroom. Give me like not even a minute, I guess. Maybe like a minute, actually, 30 seconds. All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. Data centers need semiconductor chips. I don't know if anybody heard that. So I'm trying to understand how this works. We have Micron, which is the next NVIDIA. Or is this something different? Intel and AMD are NVIDIA, and Micron is something totally different. Because now all the scam coins are rebranding. And I saw this IREN. This chart pattern is everywhere. Mara, Riot, everything. I'm holding Intel to 1,000. Dude, that's good that you're still in, man. That's awesome. The problem is now all of the garbage pails are rebranding to data centers, but Riot has the same chart. Is it, and it's going up too. I don't think the market cares if it's lying. They just want to buy anything. IREN partnered with Nvidia. Yeah, I saw that. But this is now the second time Riot rebranded. I remember in 2017 they rebranded to some rubbish. Now they're doing it a second time. Mara, same thing. I told you it was retirement. I'm just not looking at it. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I didn't know. I only thought you put a little bit in. I didn't know you had that much in there. Dude, congratulations. Nicely done. Do we think this is going to happen? Chinese buffet equals top. I haven't been to a Chinese buffet in 10 years. Bitfarms rebranded. Oh, they did rebrand. That's why I couldn't find them. Oh, here's the chart again. Wow, this chart's from 2021. Look at my black squiggle. Oh, it's wrong. Wrong again. Oh, wait, it's doing it here, though. It's just larger. Wow, is it time to buy Bitfarm? Fix your sound. It sounds muffled. Is it sound muffled or is it just this gentleman? Closing June 3rd. Yo, you're doing really well, man. That's awesome. How do we feel about BMNR? Is this the next MSTR or is this not? So everything's pivoting now to data centers. Yeah. Data processing, miscellaneous, banks, packaged software. Data, yeah, it's all data processing. They all jumped ship. I sold all my crypto and bought SanDisk. Yeah, it's a run for the ages, man. I don't know. It's just nuts. That's why I'm wondering, whoever that guy was that bought this memory ETF, is this the next big thing? Like, are we gonna come back to this in 10 years and it's gonna be at 500? Oh my goodness, but look at Bitcoin. That's what's so tough. That's why I'm struggling so much. Like, if Bitcoin was bullish, it would be easier to buy stocks. I just don't like, man, that's so bearish. Look at that. It's like semiconductor old season. No, it really is. That's what I said earlier. I think that's why the Dow isn't really pumping because we're not really bullish. Like, clearly it's bullish, but the Dow isn't moving. So it's telling me, like, is this really bullish or are we just getting a semiconductor alt season? That's a good way to word it. Semiconductor alt season. Because the semiconductors, if you look at the top stocks in SPY and QQQ, it's all the same coins. Micron, AMD, Intel, Nvidia. Anthropic and ChatGPT IPO this year. Maybe that's the blow off top. That's what happened to Coinbase. Coinbase IPO'd and it all went downhill from there. Maybe ChatGPT IPOing, or what is it, OpenAI? Maybe that makes it the top. Right? How many crypto stocks IPO'd and they all went to zero? All of them. They're loading the farm right now, getting ready to milk the cows. What is Round Hill ETF? It was called DRAM. It's a memory ETF. Maybe a bottom in February of 2027? No. February of 2027, man. I think, yeah, we should be bearish in this time frame. I'm going to leave this chart. I'm not going to change it. We should technically be bearish in this area. The question is, where's the bottom? The delta price is like 45,000. But here's the thing, how on earth do we get down here? We would have to go down like this. But it never does that. It moves down in one shot. So maybe we get something like this, but it's just large. That's tough. That's tough. This is literally a balance to get the noobs thinking we're going to 100K. Why are you being so toxic? I guess if you look at it from that perspective, though, it's really not that far. It's only 47%. But what if we change the way we're looking at it? What if we look at it from this lens? Does this line up? That's the question. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Unless the bottom is not in October. Oh, wait, yeah, it does. Hold on a second. Yeah, this green box is here. That's why. Sorry. Yeah, so wait a minute. I'm looking at it wrong. Yeah, no. How the hell do we get down? How the hell do we get to 42,000? Maybe the top is already in. Or it's close. I'm not going to pretend to know. We're in some uncharted waters here. How on earth do we go from 85,000 down to 40,000? Unless the bottom is in December or the top is already in. If we go up again, something's got to give here. Nah, we're at an interesting part. I'll admit, this is very interesting. Something's got to give here. Because if we start pumping to 90,000, even I would say, how the hell do we go to 42,000 by then? It's impossible. I took my boy fishing today and we saw a dust tornado. I don't even know what that is. That sounds not safe. Riser for 2 says we all have no kids and wife, right? I appreciate the 2. No, Chris has a wife and kids. I think most people in the chat actually have wife and kids. Chris, Crypto Meowsis has a wife. You'd be surprised. A lot of people are married with kids. They just don't type. It's just you and me, Riser. We don't have a wife and kids. But most people do. But I appreciate the 2, man. You sent me a lot of super chats today. I appreciate that. Helps out a lot. Helps quench the FOMO of SOXL doing a 5x. Nah, I'm just kidding. Nah, even I would say, listen, it seems unlikely that we come down here if we go any higher, like 90K. But that's the thing, man. It could do something like this, though, where maybe there's one more push up, then we go back down just as fast. Because this only took 1 month from April 1st to May 1st. So if we go from the end of May to the end of June, that's also actually possible. I'm assuming the top is in August. That's where the disconnect is. I'm assuming the top is in August. If the top is before August and it's in June, then we have plenty of time. I answered my own question. Okay. Because we could technically, let's just assume for Moonboy's sake, we go to 90,000. we could roll over like this, go sideways, then roll over again, then go sideways, and then roll over again. Okay, yeah. So that's why it doesn't make sense. I'm assuming the top is in August. It could be earlier than that, which technically that is likely. It should actually be in July. So can we go from 80K in July down to 40K in October? That's July, August, September, October. Yeah, 4 months. That's 10% each month. All right, so it is possible. So I'll say this. I'll argue that June and July being sideways confirms we're going down there. And the beautiful thing about that is that's less than 30 days away. So I actually am in the camp here that June and July being sideways will confirm we're going down there. I think that's what we're looking for. Because that's what we said back here. We said we should go sideways in January we should go sideways in November and December, and we did. Now, this was much different than anticipated, but now we're recalibrating. I think if we go sideways between June and July, that's the reversal point. And then from here, we go down. It wouldn't look like this. It would probably look like this. Yeah, see, when you draw it this way, it's not that far-fetched. We still have a long way to go, though. I think we're at the early phases of a plan here. I think personally, July and June, if you're a moon boy, we got to go up. So anything other than 90,000 will confirm we should be. I mean, I don't know if it confirms. I would argue this would definitely confirm it. Right? We got Crypto Meow for 10. I appreciate the 10, man. That helps a lot. We're about to go straight down, not to be toxic. This fake rally has everyone bullish. Their dreams are about to melt away. Wake up, people. Bitcoin about to go straight down. NFA, here's $10. I appreciate the 10. I appreciate the 10, man. That helps out a lot. I don't know if we're about to go straight down, but I'm definitely not touching anything because we've been overbought for quite some time now. And I am normal human. I'm not like an expert trader. And I could just tell by my titles and thumbnails to get everyone excited. Like that is a top signal. It doesn't mean that it's the definitive top, but I think 5 months from now we'll be looking back saying, yeah, look at the titles and the thumbnails. That shit was bearish, you know? Like we always say, don't ignore the top signals. That's kind of a top signal. When a YouTuber starts talking about a super cycle, but I appreciate the 10, man. Look at the giant wick. I mean, I don't know if that's enough to be bearish because you had giant wicks on here too. I think once you make a lower high, you could probably say it's bearish because we haven't done that yet. These wicks have been higher every time. I don't know if this one was higher. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, it was higher. Wow. Barely, but technically it's correct. I think once you make a lower high, you could start saying maybe it's bearish. But we've been making higher highs every 4 candles since March. But yeah, I would say too, a big red candle like this would pretty much tell us it's bearish too. Because why would that happen if we're going up? It doesn't. You just go. You could push the propaganda that we're right here. Look at that. But that's what I'm saying. If we're still here in July, that should be it. It should be bearish. Please look at the volume. SB for 2 says, in October, you said ISM could be a bear flag. Thoughts now? I appreciate the 2. Yeah, I remember that. Let's see. I mean, it still could be. It's probably not, though. Like, it's probably not. I mean, unless it ends up doing a COVID. It's probably not, though. You're probably, maybe you get one more move down and then that's it. It's probably not a bear flag at this point. But again, this indicator doesn't really help us because it says Bitcoin should be bullish. Unless we're about to blast out of here, then I guess technically it's true, but I think it's unlikely at this point it's a bear flag. But I appreciate the 2. Yeah, I'm telling you, man, I think this could be more prevalent for the stock market. I don't know if it matters so well. We'll know now, right? If it really is what everyone thinks it is, then Bitcoin's about to go into a super cycle. But if Bitcoin goes down, which is what I think, this index or whatever you want to call this, unless it's 2001, we may get a very big bull run. That's why I would love to see us get one more move down, and then everybody gets in, and then we get the bull run. That's what I hope. I mean, I don't watch this manufacturing index, but for your question, it's probably not a bear flag now. So technically it is, but I don't think it's likely that we break to the downside. Unless there's some type of COVID event, which is probably not going to happen. You might just be in an uptrend. Maybe it comes down one more time and then we go up. But I appreciate the 2, man. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to break down anymore. The last we had a crash, everybody was not expecting it. No, we all pretty much, I'm going to be honest, the chat behaved the same way you're behaving now. I already banned a guy a couple weeks ago, but the guy was telling me that it's impossible to be bearish to Russell's new all-time high, stocks new all-time high. That was the last time I streamed and we went straight down. We were very bearish up here. Unfortunately, it was bearish for a little bit too long, but now people are getting very euphoric and understandable. Like even I'm euphoric. Look at the stock market. It's unbelievable. But I've seen this happen so many times, it doesn't faze me anymore. Like I feel zero FOMO at all. And again, I think we can remain bullish heading into the summer, but you don't want to just stare at it and say, well, it's going to be bullish forever. Well, some people are. I'm not doing that. I would argue that this environment that you're in should be sending you higher right now because it always does when it's actually bullish. And when it's not bullish, you don't do anything, which we're clearly moving higher so we can remain bullish. But heading into the summer, this is not going to stay flat like this. It only stays flat when you go parabolic. So if we don't go parabolic and it just stays like this, that'll tell me before the crash that the crash is coming, in my opinion. Just like here, even though I was looking for a crash, this exact indicator told me, doesn't matter what you think, this is bullish. So I finally said, all right, it's not coming. The crash isn't coming. And then we went up, luckily, after I said it was done. So it didn't get the bottom, but I stopped being a perma bear right here. So now you're seeing people super euphorically bullish, which you can be, but again, I think once you get into May, or not May, once you get into June, you really shouldn't still be here if it's truly bullish. You should keep going. So maybe we're in June and it's at 90,000, then we're really bullish. Holy crap. But going into June, anything other than that, like if we're still at 81K or 82K, that's kind of the top. Because at some point, the 4-year cycle will reveal itself or get invalidated. And if it was going to get invalidated, now's the time. But because the S&P is as bullish as it is, and the stock market or Bitcoin's not doing anything, I can't look at this chart and say, yeah, this is so bullish, I got to get in. This is telling me the rally's almost over. Again, maybe I'm wrong. I'm not saying it has to happen. That's just me personally. We got Chris for 10 says the thing that would cause a massive crash like COVID would be the new hantavirus outbreak. It's just like COVID starting on a cruise ship. A few dead already, supposedly in 6 countries now. I appreciate the 10, man. That is awesome. Yeah, I've never heard of that. Hantavirus. I think I saw a comment about it. So it's just another COVID outbreak again. It's from rats. I mean, that's funny that I was talking about it before. You have both the S&P. You literally have the S&P and Bitcoin behaving the same way as 2019 COVID, where the stock market's just going vertical for no reason at all, and Bitcoin is lagging, and then they pull the rug at the last second. I'm not going to run around talking about a virus. I don't know anything about it. I'm not going to say I don't care, but I'm not going to start talking about a virus. But that's interesting. I mean, it's something to pay attention to just for your own health, but it seems like it's starting over. Saying my opinion again. This whole thing is my opinion. But I appreciate the 10, Chris. That helps out a lot. Yeah, that's unfortunate that this thing is coming again. Yeah, but the question is it as, what's the word? Is it as infectious? That's the word I'm looking for, you know? Because like COVID was like, you got it just from looking at somebody. SB for 2 says, check out 1996 to 1990. Now it'll be 1996. Right. So I'm going to assume that you are team SUPERCYCLE. Hey, I'm not getting in the way of this. You know? I'm not getting in the way of this one bit. For the S&P 500, maybe that is where we are. Team SUPERCYCLE. I can't even say that you're wrong. I don't think patterns repeat like this, though. Where'd you say we were? 1996? Oh, I think that's where I just grabbed it. Yeah, listen, maybe that is where we are. I can't say that you're wrong, man. I don't know if I go this high, 1400, but maybe like this, I could see. But the reality is, Bitcoin not going up confirms that we're in a bear market, at least for Bitcoin. I'm not saying that SPY is in a bear market, but we can come up with all the bullish propaganda that we want to. Once August passes, if Bitcoin is not over 90,000, there's a very, very, very high chance we're going down. Because of the momentum, because of the 4-year cycle, because of the Moonboy chart, whatever the reasoning is, the reason comes after the fact. We still don't know why we went down in October. It just happened. You would say because of the 4-year cycle. We still don't know why we went down in January. It just happened. People want to say it was the war. Bitcoin was already down here before the war started. So I don't know what the reason is going to be, but I'm going to make the case that Bitcoin failing to break out before summer ends will result in this move. Whether it's because of the virus or Mr. Meow's house blew up, whatever it is, I don't know, but it should come down here. Now, to invalidate that, we simply need to take this high and move much higher, accompanied with your 1996 cutout. So if SPY is really going to go to 900 by 2027, then that would be nuts. And I can't really disagree. I think even with the 4-year cycle, I actually think the V recovery, assuming we get one, is going to be monstrous. We're entering the mania phase of the mania phase. So I can't really disagree with you. I think the stock market is just going to go up forever. The question is, will we get one of these at the end of the year? And I think it is likely because Bitcoin is not going up. But obviously, if Bitcoin makes a new all-time high, then we're in a paradigm shift and it's just going to go up forever. But I appreciate it too, man. It's already human to human spread with 8-week incubation. 4 out of 12 people on that ship died. Who got it? Yeah, but wasn't COVID like airborne? Yeah, that's what it was, airborne. That was a trigger word back in the day, airborne. I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna worry about it. If I get it, I get it, but the market doesn't care, clearly. The business cycle is not 4 years. Right, so every time we get these arguments, it's usually I'm not saying that the top is close, but it's usually what happens, right? Everyone gives reasons as to why it should keep going and it never does. Maybe it's different this time, but I'm not going to tell you that. I think SPY is bullish. I have major FOMO on the semiconductors. I have zero FOMO for Bitcoin because I've seen this trap so many times. And it's always the same argument. We didn't have this, we didn't have that. I get it. I made the same argument in 2022. We went down anyway. So I think if you're bullish and you're making money, that's all that really matters. And just manage your risk. That's all you can really do. But I guess we'll call it a stream for today. Very productive stream today. How long were we live for? 2 hours? That's not bad. So with that said, do appreciate the support. We'll get through this one day at a time. As always, Appreciate the super chats, the members, the subs, all the support. Stay safe, whether you're bullish or bearish. Someone asked before if they should short. I don't know if shorting is going to work yet. We still could be bullish for a little bit. But regardless, appreciate the support from everyone. Stay safe. As always, none of this is financial advice. And I'll see you soon.